All right, so I'm going to go over a possible option for make a reservation. So by default, when you load up the theme, we just have the styling built in, so you can kind of use your content management system or some other form that you have to actually use this check availability. But you might want an easier solution, and so you might notice when you open up the files that there's this index-wufoo.html, and if we open that up, you can see you can actually select a bunch of items and the number of adults and children, and if you click check availability, it will actually go to a form, and then it'll ask for your name and email, and this is actually done through WuFoo, which is a popular form builder. So if you go to wufoo.com, you can actually sign up and get a free account. That's what I was using, and you can also look at their possible pricing guide as well if you want to upgrade your account. But all this can be done with a free account. So if you log in or sign up, you can you get prompted with a form manager if you want, and we already have one built, so you can see we have a couple entries in there. But to build your own is super easy. That will fit with our theme. You can use our exact example, or you can build a custom form as you need. I'm going to go over how to build this exact form that we have that's working on index-wufoo. So let's go ahead and create a new form, and then you just start dragging over elements. So the first one's a drop down, so we can go to the drop down right here, and then you select your drop down, and you can start adding a bunch of choices. I'm going to go and just leave it, let's call this select a room. I'm going to try and go over this really quickly so you can, and we'll call this form reservation example. And then we can keep adding more fields. So I'm going to add an arrival and departure. And these are actually added super cool. They're actually just text fields. So we're going to go and add another single line text field. And we'll call this arrival. And we'll say, yes, it's required. You can play around with the settings a little bit as you need. And then we'll have one called departure. And we'll require it as well. And then let's go and I'll leave out number of children just so we can speed this up a little bit. So for number of adults is another drop down. So we're going to select drop down. And we'll call this one number of adults. Alright, so we have a basic form. You can play around with a lot more and adjust the options as you need. This is a great example right here. So let's go ahead and save the form. And then you can say, I'm finished, take me back to form manager, or however you want to edit it. So then the next thing you want to do is you want to go under code, this code tag. And we're going to grab some code to generate this form. Alright, here's where you need to pay close attention. So we're going to go to HTML/CSS code. And we can download the files there. So let's go and download those files. And we can open them up right here. I'm going to drop the files into our folder just so we can easily reference it. And if you open up the index.html page, you'll get a cool form, which is great. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to take out the HTML and drop it into the theme. So let's go and open up the index.html and look at what is generated. So basically what we're going to want to do is select all this HTML, which is in the form. So if we go under where the form starts and where the form completes, we're going to want to copy that, and then we're going to paste that into our index-wufoo.html file.